Hi, I'm Kimberly, and I went through over a decade of severe chronic illness and have come out completely on the other side. And now I'm sharing my story and helping others to find their way to the other side. And something that has come up a lot recently has been intuitive eating and also just listening to your intuition in general. So, when our body goes through a state of being in severe dis-ease or imbalanced states, we typically get there, especially with something that kind of came on over time, through various versions of not listening to what it is that our body was needing, that our mind was needing breaks from or stimulation in, the environments that we're in, and our work life, the activities that we're doing that are really filling us up and bringing us joy. And so when we get to that place of severe dis-ease, we can oftentimes have a harder time listening to that intuition and hearing what it is telling us, because we've temporarily moved away from it. When I first got, like in October 2019, when I started driving again and really like started getting my life back for the first time in, like a decade, I ended up not knowing what my favorite color was, not knowing what types of food I liked, because I was so sensitive and allergic to everything for so long, going down to 10 different food items, that I didn't even know what I liked anymore. I didn't know what kind of music I liked because I was so sensitive to music that I wasn't listening to music very much. Even watching TV on like a big screen was something that hurt my eyes. I had no idea, and my ears from the sound, so I had no idea what I wanted to listen to or what I liked anymore. I had a very, very small friend group, or friends, because I was too tired to do anything, or physically couldn't do things for so long. Mentally, it was challenging keeping up with everybody, or even just texting people back, let alone like calling on the phone. So I was very isolated, and I had to get to know myself again. And as we go through brain retraining and through our own healing processes, we're really introducing ourselves to us, to like the deepest part of us, to our soul, us. You know, the part of us that doesn't have the dependencies, addictions, and this can be to food, this can be to people, this can be to places, this can be to substances, this can be to certain media, it can be literally anything. And honestly, I didn't really know if I knew myself at any point before that, because I had just been kind of going with, I was 19 when I had an anaphylactic shock that like totally like shut down my life. And so I had gone through the school system, grew up, with my parents, beliefs and values and morals. And now I was kind of going out into the world and seeing what it was that I liked for me. And so it was very big and very like scary to be like, oh my gosh, like who am I? Like, what do I even like? What means something to me? And I had to start really listening to my intuition and diving into like what was a yes for me and what was a no for me. And this went with literally everything. This went with the people that I was surrounding myself with, which was really, really hard for me. I was oversensitive and overstimulated very easily. And so hanging out with people in general, especially as somebody like I didn't know very well, or somebody totally new, could feel very overwhelming, especially in the beginning. More than anything, I think it's always going to take more energy to be around somebody that you're unfamiliar with completely, or not as familiar with. But I definitely had to kind of gauge, like, okay, how do I really feel around this person? Like, do I want to be talking about this stuff? Like, I have no interest in gossip. I don't really have interest in talking about shopping. I don't really have interest in talking about TV shows. I'm not really interested in music. The things that do light me up are talking about science, talking about health and wellness, talking about nature, being out in nature and just sharing an experience with somebody, going and doing something fun with somebody. Those are all things that like I realized like really lit me up and was something that was important to me. And then when it came to foods, it's been like a long journey over the past like 5 years of really finding, like, just listening intuitively to what it was that my body was really doing well with and what it wasn't doing so well with. And this doesn't necessarily mean, like, obviously processed foods, like I pretty much have stopped eating processed foods completely because I just don't feel well with them. I just don't. And sugar just, like, I get like a bad taste in my mouth like almost instantly. But this was something like I played around with because there was so long that like I couldn't eat these foods because I would have such bad reactions to them, that it was kind of fun to like dive in and be like, what do Skittles taste like again? Or, you know, what do these chips taste like? Things that I just didn't eat for so long because I was having such severe reactions. But after kind of playing around with that, I was like, no, these are the things that I really, really feel good with. And I personally feel really good with a lot of cooked vegetables and beans and lentils. And I've been eating quite a bit of meat recently, actually, to kind of build. I went through like a little burnout recently, about like 2 months ago now, month and a half ago. And so I've been building back up my system, especially going into winter, eating more of that seasonal, like alignment of foods, where I am eating the heavier, denser foods to kind of build up my body and my cells for the winter and the colder months. But I went through like a whole period where my body did not want meat, like, at all. It was like, absolutely, like, no, this is not a match for me. And so that's the other thing, is it's going to change. Like, what we're going to need at one moment is going to be different than what we need at another moment. So I just like kept listening to the different ways that my body was telling me things feel good and things don't feel good. Another thing with music and like media sources, and like, what do I want to listen to? What do I want to surround myself with in my TV and, you know, movie watching? I've watched very little of both, like extremely very little of both. What do you have? You got a bug?
That's the yellow one.
That's super cool. Way to go.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. My niece and I are here. We've been hanging out at this beautiful little water spot here for almost 2 hours now, I think. But we hiked all the way up this. I'll show you. Up all the way up this creek. It goes way, way down a couple miles. We've just been hanging out here. So I really like realized how I felt with listening to certain music, and even like soundtracks and movies. Like, if they're intense, it's not something that is in alignment with me. Definitely don't want to watch scary movies. And you know, things that might shift and change like as I go, but it's just, I'm really, really listening to what it is that my body is saying yes and no to. I will notice, like, when I'm in a store, this like became like, I couldn't ignore this for years. Like, if I could even get into a store and try to go shopping and do stuff, like how fatigued I would feel like after a certain amount of time. And it's still something that, you know, like, I know when I'm done being under the music of the store, the lights of the store, you know, in like this place with all these hard plastic metal surfaces and cement floors, you know, or whatever it is, and, you know, around so many people. And yeah, I know when I'm done now. So even days when like I have like errands to run and things to do, you know, like I'll get as much done as like I feel is good, and then I'll kind of stop. But I went through many, many different layers of this as I was going through my healing journey. So it was, you know, initially like, okay, let me just get myself into a store and see how I feel. Let me just get myself in like behind the wheel of a car and see how I feel. Let me just go into these various different social situations and see how I feel. You know, it was, let me try hanging around different people. Like, it was literally everything like that. I was retrying again after not being able to go do basic things like go to a concert, or, you know, just go to a pizza parlor and enjoy a slice of pizza and be in like a noisy place. You know, it was so many things that was so long that I didn't do, because my body just, my system just wasn't in a place to do that. So now I'm just very selective with like the things that I do choose to do, like coming out here on my one day off this week, and like just allowing myself. And that's the other thing. Like I burned myself out just like a month and a half to 2 months ago, and I want to do it all. I'm like excited and getting back into life, but at the same time, I am a sensitive. Like I am more sensitive to things in the world, and that's not a bad thing. Sensitive in the way that like I am highly acutely aware of how things affect me, and there's also an energetic play to that too. We have our deep cellular energy, the deep energy like sheaths within our body. It's like in Chinese medicine, it's called your jing. And when we've been sick for a long time, if we've just given birth, or if we're just got out of a hospital or just had a surgery, that jing energy is going to be lower. So like you're going to get sick faster or easier. And you're going to get tired faster, and it takes time to build that up. So after over a decade of having that jing energy, that deep energy depleted and depleted and depleted to like almost being on my deathbed, then it's going to take time to build that back up. So I feel like my antenna to the outside world of things that are a yes and things that are a no to me, I'm just very, very, very sensitive to that. And so when I don't listen to that, I pay for it. And I'm very thankful for that, because it's keeping me on my track as to what is important to me and what I am spending my time with and who I am spending my time with here, and what feels really good to me, what's on my path, like what is my purpose here, am I fulfilling my dharma? So those are all just kind of thoughts that were going on, but I really think that when we are in a state of severe dis-ease, we have gone far, far, far away from what our intuition is telling us, and we're not listening. Are we going too fast? Are we being too slow and stagnant? Are we trying to do too much? Are we doing things that just aren't lighting us up, or we're working for other people in ways that are just not feeling good? There's just so many things in relationships of all various different kinds with people that might just not be in alignment. And these are the things that sometimes become just comfortable and familiar, and they're easy. And so we just stay in that until our body gets to a point where it absolutely is telling us we can't do it anymore, and something has to change. And so there's different levels of being able to catch that at different times. And this is something that I'm able to use as a tool now to say, okay, this isn't in alignment. Like my body is absolutely being an antenna for my soul right now and telling me that this is not where my heart is at. Like this is not where I'm supposed to be right now. This is not what I'm supposed to be putting my energy towards right now. So definitely tapping into that intuition and just doing what feels right. Well, I hope that helps you in some way. If you have any comments about how you're listening to your intuition, or how you feel you might have stepped away from your intuition, please leave them below, because other people might read it and be like, oh my gosh, like that rings a bell for me, or there's something that I connect with that. So please share. And also feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at Kimbers.new.frequency, or go to my website at KimberlyHarder.com and see if you'd like to know more information on coaching or my energy work services. And I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.